any of you guys been following the situation with Filian's Nendriod?
I have a conspiracy theory that is why you invited me on. I was like, you conveniently invited the artist this round. Now,
No.
I have followed it and I am ready. I'll hold my tongue until it's my turn, but I am ready.
Okay, I will say, like,
Punz, why don't you explain the situation? Let's explain the situation.
So I knew I was going to talk about this before I even invited you onto the show, but like the fact that you were an artist and I also commissioned art from you to be used in like a semi-commercial way was like perfect for this. But all right, so let's let me get the docket up so I have my timeline. I think unfortunately one of those tweets was like deleted. I think the one with the Nendriod was deleted.
One from Good Smile was deleted.
Yeah. So basically, last week, a Filian Nendriod was announced. And it's Nendriods are like little figurines that are kind of, it's like a brand of figurines, kind of like Funko Pops.
They're a chibi figurine that is made by one of the most famous figure companies in Japan.
Yeah, so like these are like higher quality figurines. They're not like the crazy several $100 ones with super duper fine detail, but they're a popular figurine brand. And on what day was it? Let me actually look at my freaking links here. Twitter, please load. I'm doing a stream. 4 days ago, on July 5th, Filian's Nendriod was announced. When these figures are announced, the company posts them on Twitter, and they say that they're announced that they're coming. It hasn't been, the figurine hasn't been actually produced yet, but so this was announced. People were generally like generally excited, and then it turns out that the creator of Filian's model, for those of you who don't know, Filian uses Ringo as her base for VR chat, and she uses that model for streaming, and so that the figurine of her was based off of that model. However, if you go to the booth websites of that model, Trumoko 2, one of like the most popular booth models, very, very popular base, still used very, very often today, even though it's been around for a good 2-3 years now, I think. It's a very popular base. Despite this, if you go to the booth page for that, it specifically says you can use the model for streaming purposes, and things like that. So like Filian was fine using the model, but you can't use it for producing physical merch.
We'll get to
Filian
that.
apparently didn't. Filian apparently didn't even own the model, like for
that's another thing
in VR chat. Yeah,
I think we should break down each issue one by one, because there are several issues at play here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we should break each issue down one by one. Because don't worry, I have my notebook right here. I wrote down all my.
He is prepared. He is prepared. He was even telling me before the stream, like he was like, I have notes. I am ready. And I was like, oh my god, notes! You are the most prepared guest we've ever had. I don't think any guest has at least told me physically that they have notes prepared before going on. So I'm excited. I am ready.
I'm not here to play. I'm here for
business orientated. That's what I heard you say earlier. It sounds like it.
Punz is over here priming the artist and himself for rage talk. That's what I'm hearing.
I want my rage bait TikToks published tomorrow.
I need them now.
I need them now on my desk tomorrow.
Okay, so the first issue with this is that on the booth page for that model, it said that you do not have the right to sell physical commercial goods for using that model. Issue number 2, Filian admitted to pirating the model, basically, even though it's very fairly cheap model. And like there's a clip of it and everything. And if I was a better host, I would have that on here.
I don't have it either, but yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it as well.
Take our word for it.
Yeah, source, we told you so.
Source, trust me, bro.
Oh.
Is it one of these? Maybe one of these.
Source, we wouldn't lie to you.
Yeah. So like another issue is obviously is that while she apparently the model is pretty much the model that Filian used, just a basic recolor of it, and there's isn't a whole lot of changes to it, I suppose.
Is the outfit change? Is that outfit on the actual Abby originally, or is that?
No, it's another prefab that they put onto it, I think.
Okay.
And I think that prefab also, you can't make commercial use of that prefab, right?
No, I don't. No, everything about it.
That was a different model because like there was another time when Filian made merch for like her in the video game, and that model that she used for that also doesn't allow merch and other things. But that kind of like passed by people. Yeah, so that was so. After she made the announcement,
there's no part of her model that was monetizable.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And so after the announcement of the figurine came out, there was actually a comment from the creator of the model where she said basically, I was never contacted about that figure. I did not know about this until now. It says in the TOS you can't make nothing in the TOS says you can make merch off of that. And so and then from there things exploded. People started digging and figuring out the stuff with the other model where she didn't have the right to do it and use it in commercial for merchant stuff. And then eventually if I try to, let me see, do I have Firefox set up properly for this? Let me see. Boop. Yeah, so this is like a quote retweet of that, of the announcement of the figurine, which is now deleted. And so basically a whole bunch of people said like
this is made for ants. You need to make it bigger.
Yeah, it's
too small.
Yeah, let me just this. There you go. You guys should be able to read it now. And then people are thinking like, oh, she used it. That it's just a recolored VR chat avatar, and she didn't ask for permission, and she made the merch with the design, and yada yada yada, and basically, yeah. And so after that, the tweet got taken down, and Filian, I think recently Filian released a statement saying that she's working with the creator behind the scenes, and then they announced that.
That's not exactly how she phrased it.
She. We'll get again.
That's not exactly how it is.
We're gonna. Trust me. I'm ready. I'm shaking, ready to break this all down.
Oh, the way she phrased it was like, "Oh, we're talking to her, and we're trying to figure out how to do this."
Yeah.
And that was. Yeah. It was like we're trying to figure out how to still go through with this kind of thing.
Yeah. I'll just let me know, and I'm gonna start going off. Give me permission. I'm gonna start going off.
All right. I'm just gonna say. Eventually, the creator of the Jingo model, the model said, "This is a translated statement of the model creator statement down here, where she says like, just basically like the models are used in VR chat. They can be used for independent VTuber activities, but they don't. But just because you purchase the model doesn't mean you have all rights to it to a product. I don't mind if you're using VTubing, but you can't do it for merch because then it would lead to complicated situations where multiple people would own the copyright for merch for using the model, and it would be really complicated. So I just want them to not make merch, basically.
Yeah.
And please follow the terms of use of models you buy. And I think that's generally it.
Yep. I think that's a pretty good like general breakdown of it. Yeah.
But yeah, all right. Go. The floor is yours.
Am I off my leash? Okay,
yeah, I'm letting you off the leash. Go get him. Go get him, Tiger.
All right. So let's break it down with like let's go surface issues here first, right? So I'd say surface issues here are both the treatment of artists in the community and Filian herself. Let's broach. We'll just go with the artist for now. So the treatment of artists generally, and I would say the streaming community, I would say largely the VTubing community as well. I find as an artist, there's a lot of let's see what I can get away with sort of behavior with people who aren't ready to engage. I talked about this before with game dev. People are not ready to engage as a business. When you're a streamer, when you are monetizing yourself, when you are trying to make profit off of what you're doing, you are now a business. Whether you filed as a business entity or not, you are a business. These artists, they're businesses. They're often self-employed. So you are engaging in a business to business practice, which means you should have business etiquette. When you buy something, the terms of which you have rights over that are different for every single artist. So reading somebody's TOS is very, very, very important because what is okay for some artists is not okay for other artists. For example, I do not allow any editing of my emotes. You cannot animate them. You cannot recolor them without my permission, my express permission. You come to me first. You say, hey, can I do this thing to your emote? You have bought the emote. I have created it. So whatever you do with whatever you buy from a creator, you have to always err on the safe side, at least check in with a creator. I feel like not a lot of people know when they're in the streaming space, they come in as a streamer. There's a lot of people who want to get into VTubing now specifically, which again is great. It's great for people to have access to these things, but they're green. They are not used to engaging on a business level. And if you're ignorant, that is fine. You will learn lessons, and you should try to educate yourself. If you're ignorant, you should try to educate yourself. Okay, what is good business practice when I'm engaging at this level? Because as soon as you start exchanging money, you are now in a business. You're now in a business practice. You're exchanging money hands to hands. So yeah, I feel like a lot of artists don't understand respect artists. They are working for you, but they're independent from you. They work for themselves. And when you get in the streaming space, please respect the artists that you are getting art from. Do not think that, oh, it's fine if I just like use it for this. Oh, it's fine if I just use it for that. Because like nine times out of 10, yes, it's going to be fine. But you have to check in with that person because they're the creators of it. So that's an issue of like, you need, whatever you're doing, you need to learn to respect artists. But that then flows into the other problem, which is Filian herself. When she talked about her model, there was not a care in the world about her stealing. And it's fine to go off and be like, Filian did the bad thing. This is wrong for Filian to do. I never got the sense at all that Filian cared because she said, I stole this. Proudly with her whole chest, she said, I stole this. I didn't pay anything for this. It was illegal. She dropped illegal in her vernacular when she was talking about the situation. Well, I took this illegally. She knew what she was doing was wrong, right? So when we're looking at both sides, I want this to be a lesson for people getting into the streaming world or in any world where you're exchanging, money for services with artists, anyone, musicians, and anybody you were exchanging money with, and that's not a like conglomerate business entity that's going to whip your ass with like some sort of lawsuit or whatever. You still need to treat them with the same respect as if you're scared of getting a lawsuit, right? Of like, this person created this. I'm not going to use it against their TOS. I'm going to check their TOS. First off, check people's TOSs, please.
Yes,
if you're uncertain about something, ask the artist. Is it okay if I use it for this? Is it okay if I use it for that? A lot of times artists are going to be so happy for you to use artwork that they created. But what it is respect. You have to respect the artist. You have to contact them. Yeah. That's just basic like humanity, really, at that point. So Filian herself is a major problem in this situation just because she knew what she was doing was wrong, and she was almost proud of it. It seemed that like, oh, I'm making all this money. I have all this success, and it's all off of a model that I stole. Like, isn't that so cool, everyone? And it's like, no.
And also, she didn't credit. She didn't credit at all, which I think is in the TOS. You have to credit. Even,
we can point out like a bunch of issues that she did the wrong step every way, but she knew she was making the wrong steps. She just thought she was untouchable, and I don't want people to think that that's just like a thing that you can do. You definitely should not do that. Now let's go into some subsurface issues, and this is where it comes into like my views on it as an artist. Because there's a lot of things about this situation that people don't take into account because they're not an artist, which is fine. Again, I will never blame people for not understanding like the ins and outs of a situation because you're not on that side. That is so understandable. But like, hear artists out when they do speak about these things, because and I think the artist behind the model touched on it, a couple of things that I want to touch on about. And I will say that how art theft in general impacts artists, because you think their art gets stolen, the person who stole it gets called out, the issue is resolved. And that's not true at all. That's not the impact of art theft on artists. I'll say one point of it is the monopolization. So in what I was reading, Filian took this model that was pretty well used, and her fans would start attacking other people who also use that model because that's Filian's model. That's a model that Filian used. You can't use that model. You're copying Filian. You can't. And so that's impacting the artist because now people are going to stop buying that model because that's Filian's model. You're not allowed to use that. It's been used. If you use that model, you're going to get harassed. So that's one aspect that impacts the artist after the fact of just like, that's now, people now view that as the Filian model. So now people aren't going to want to buy that as often because of that association now. So when you monopolize somebody's, and the artists themselves said this model is for everyone, but for some people that model is never going to be for everyone now because that's the model that Filian stole and monopolized. So that's one impact. Another impact being that when you change somebody's work. Now, again, they allow the changing of work, but I want to use this as like a way to kind of open up more of a conversation about art theft in general that people aren't maybe not understand. And just like not respecting artists is like when you edit somebody's work as well, you are now, again, if it's in somebody's TOS, perfectly fine. If it's not in somebody's TOS, there's a reason why. And it's because when you change somebody's art, when you edit it or change it in any sort of way, you're adulterating, whether you have permission or not, you're adulterating that product. And artists, their work is what is going to get them business. When people see their work, they go, I like that work and I want to hire that person. Like that's how we get business, is people seeing our work and being, oh, I like that and I want that, right? And now think about if somebody made work and somebody goes, oh yeah, I think I've heard this artist, but why is there like artifacting around around the lines, and it looks kind of like shitty. Oh, it looks like it's got like been shittily color changed and things like that because somebody adulterated it. Now that artist, they're going to be known to that person as a shitty artist. And they go, oh, never mind. I'm not going to hire that artist because this edit looks like shit, and they're going to think that artist did that edit, right? Unless they have like context to it, right? If you change somebody's work. This is kind of like one of the issues that I had when I was dealing with some art theft as well, because I'm like, they're tracing my art to a degree, but then they're also adulterating it and making it look bad. And I don't want people to be like, oh, I know the person who makes these emotes. This one's bad. This person's a bad artist. I don't know, like, why would I hire them? So that's another like issue with kind of adulterating somebody's artwork, is that does affect that art, because that's our portfolio that you're now kind of slandering, really. So again, if it's in their TOS that you can edit things, by all means. But if it's not in their TOS, that is why an artist would put that in their TOS, is because they want to protect what their work will look like to their or to the audience. And because that can impact their business in the long run. And I think those are like the two main points I want to talk about on like the back end of just like how art theft in general affects. I will say the artist did say like they're not after like a monetization gain. It wasn't the money that like bothered them, but it was just the fact that it was kind of taken from them without permission. That's again just a really shitty thing to do. And every artist is different. There's some artists where like, you know, the financial impact isn't going to ruin their lives, and then there's other artists where the financial impact is going to ruin their lives. And so yeah, just you never want to make that chance. You never want to be the reason why somebody doesn't go without a meal, or, you know, can't pay rent that month and shit like that. Like that's an awful position to be in. And that's why I'm not so happy about the Filian situation, because she doesn't seem remorseful at all.
Yeah.
And although this artist in particular in this case said like it's not the money that's like the issue, there could be a case where it is. You know, there could be a case where, you know, an artist does rely on these like, you know, passive incomes to get by and shit like that. So yeah, I just think I wanted to use this situation as more of just like this is why art theft is bad, you guys, sort of conversation, because I don't think a lot of people hear it from like the artist perspective of like, you can fuck up our lives if you steal art, if you trace it, if you adulterate it. You can fuck up our lives because, you know, for some people this is our livelihoods, and infringing upon that is not a great thing to deal with in general. So yeah, so that was my 2 cents that I had locked and loaded. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I mean, Filian's not a good person, so she doesn't give a flying fuck, and the only reason she slightly cares is legal ramifications and popularity of herself falling. That's the only reason she cares, and that's the only reason she'll ever care.
She's lucky the model creator didn't like sue her or something, because she.
Did you see the?
What did you say? So?
Oh, so I was gonna say, did you see the response that she actually gave originally?
No, I didn't see the original response. I saw the on-stream.
Her original response was just a Twitter post. That was it. That was a fucking original like response to someone calling her out. She just like responded. She replied with like a and that's it. I was like, bro, what the fuck? Like
yeah. That's the issue. Is like when
she does not give a shit.
That's why I say like one of the major.
Sorry.
One of the major issues is Filian herself, because she just does not care. So we can keep saying like this is bad and use it as a lesson for the community in general, but Filian herself is not going. And like it's so crazy as well, because Filian supporters are like, yeah, all you haters think that like she's gonna be taken down from this, and no, she's not. Look at her, she's, you know, successful as ever. I'm like, yeah, that's still a problem. Still a problem that
that's what I was gonna say.
That, you know,
that's what I was gonna say. Like you said that people can't get away with it, but sadly, they can, and she has.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like this is not really having an impact on her. She's not going to change the model anytime soon. It doesn't seem like she didn't say, "Oh, I'm gonna get a new model. I'm gonna work on that." She should have said that. That should have been her response. Her response should have been, "Oh, I'm gonna get a personalized model. It's gonna like change a little bit so I can all that shit." Because she has the money. She has the money to fucking commission someone to make a fucking proper VTuber.
Well, that's the thing, is like she almost, it seemed like she's almost getting a thrill out of like getting away with it. Yeah. You know, like, but she definitely has the money. She definitely knew she was doing the wrong thing. She definitely knew she had other options.
Oh yeah.
And she never made a single good choice along her path to her success. She's like, I want to start streaming. I don't have anything but this thing I already have stolen. I'm just going to use that. And then as I grow, I'm never going to consider that I could then move on to like something different, or I could move on to something that's like, you know, custom, paid for, perchance. You know, and it also brings up a conversation of like, yeah, if you're getting into VTubing, it sucks to say, but there is like a certain price cap if you want to reach a certain like quality, I guess, of stream, right? But you can start VTubing for free and legally. Did you know that? You can actually start streaming if you have a computer already and you have a good internet connection.
Yep. There's free models.
Yeah,
yep.
there's free models. You can make Vroid models. I think are still free, right? Yeah, there's a lot of free resources. So there's really no excuse to steal from anything other than like, I'm a bad person. I want to do what I want. And that kind of is like what Filian to me boiled down to, is just somebody who's like, oh, I want to do this, so I'm going to do it. With no other thought of beyond that, of just like, I want to do this, so I'm going to do it. You lost me a good internet connection, says Nay. Yeah. But yeah, you can, if you want to start streaming as a VTuber, there are so many free resources. There are also a lot of artists and riggers who want to practice, and they will release like free models time to time, or they will say like, oh, you have like a simple model, like you have a model that you want me to rig with like, I don't know, like is 10 bones. Yeah, I'll try rigging. Like, don't take advantage of anybody, but like, there's plenty of people who would be like, yeah, I'll do this for a discount. I'll do this for like free if they're starting out or new. Like you have to understand that like not everything gets to get handed to you on a silver platter just because you really want it. And that, it's a tough lesson to learn, but like you can say like, oh, I want to be this awesome VTuber with like this really cool avatar. But if it's not in your budget, it's not in your budget, and you can get there. Like I believe in you. Work on it. Get there. Nobody is ever gonna look at your free model and go, oh, you don't deserve to be in the VTubing space. And if they do say that, then they're just fucking elitist like pricks, and you don't need to listen to them anyway. Isn't she the biggest VTuber in her circle though? She might be like the biggest indie VTuber in her circle. I'm not sure.
Isn't she with Mythic now, Filian?
Yeah, well, she's the Mythic. When you're under Mythic, you're still independent technically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, she's definitely the biggest indie in her circle, and that's what sucks is like, she's big, so she can get away with it, but she's big, so she didn't need to get away with it. You know what I mean? Like she had no reason to need a stolen model. She had no reason to need to do any of this. So she will get away with it. And it was completely unnecessary. Yeah.
Just make a unique OC. And like I feel like that's something that would make sense to do from a business perspective. Like from a business perspective, there's a reason why all big VTuber agencies have their own in-house models and character designs, so that they own the IP. So that way it's all theirs, and they have full complete ownership.
I think the difference here is like I'm going to be mean for a second, but there are some people who are like, I want to be a VTuber. I want to be a streamer in general because I want to stream. I want to have fun. I want to do cool things on stream. I want to be a streamer. Like, that's fine. And there's some people who are VTubers because they're like, I want attention. And I'm not going to tell you which circle, Filian fits in. But I think there's a big difference with like just how you're going to go about doing things in the first place. If you're going about it like, I want to be a streamer, I want to grow, I want to build a community, I want to like, I want to do like cool content on a stream, I want to like, build off of that. And then there's people who are like, I want to blow up and be famous. And the paths that they're going to choose to take are often going to be very different. And yeah, if you were actually getting into this with like a business mindset, you would as soon as possible, you would get your own model, your own design, your own, all that stuff, and have paid the artist the commercial fees, all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And when you just want the fast track to the top, then you do any means necessary. And again, I'm not gonna name which one Filian is under, but make the connection yourself, obviously.
So fast track.
Another thing, I guess, since we're talking about commercial rights, it's very important that like as streamers that we are aware of the nuances of commercial rights and what type of commercial rights we have.
Educate yourself on the laws because they are important. And yeah, you don't just when you wake up and you're like, I'm gonna be a streamer, I'm gonna be streaming today, and you just go, and I'm not gonna be like Filian.
Yeah.
Whatever choices Filian made, I'm gonna make the opposite one. So yeah, educate yourself on laws. I'm not saying you have to be super law savvy, and I think a lot of it, even if you talk to the artist, especially if you're like the kind of person where reading law is a daunting thing. people who are dyslexic, people who have like, other issues. It can be daunting to kind of be like, okay, well, if I want to get into streaming, I have to, memorize all these laws. You don't necessarily have to. You should definitely know the general, like what's good, what's not good sort of stuff. But talk to your artists. Mm-hmm. Artists are providing a service. They want to provide you that service. They want 9 times out of 10, these artists want to give you exactly what you want. There's some artists who are like, give me my money and then go away. But a lot of these artists, especially in these Twitch circles, we're here to make your streams happen. We're here to make your graphics so you can stream. We're here to make your models so you can stream. We're here to make your emotes so your community can use your emotes. Like, we're all here to help you stream. Respect that. Respect that they're spending their time to help you, and the least you can do is just give them some respect in return and be like, is it okay if I do this thing? Is it like, how can we make this work? Can I display the art if I tag you in the title? Can I just, all that, like, make it work with your artist, because a lot of times, I know it can sound scary, especially artists that you don't have a good rapport with, but I can tell you every single artist will at least appreciate you asking. Unless it's not like a super diluted question. Maybe Google, if you think, maybe I'm being super delusional right now, Google that one first. But yeah, if it's like a normal question of like, oh, is it okay? I know you said like no like commercialization, but is it okay if I like display it in like my starting screen? If if I'm doing like the gallery of art or whatever, can I display your art in the gallery of art? And like a lot of times our artists are gonna be like, yeah, sure, that's fine. Just credit me. Just be like, oh, I'm using, like, honestly, make a thread on your Twitter being like, these are all the artists that I've used art from. There you go. You've credited. As long as that's like okay with the artist, there you go. There's your credit.
Whenever I use art for going live, I usually just try and whenever I use them for going live art, I just, in a comment below, I put in artist at whatever their name is. So
it's so easy. It's so easy to credit artists. It
takes like 5 seconds. I have like a Discord full of all the art and the artist, and whenever I go live, I just copy and paste the artist at and just put it in there. Easy peasy.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, and whenever an artist gets commissioned, we look at your profiles. We do snoop. And when we see that you're, every time you're posting artwork, you're then crediting the artist underneath it, we're like, yeah, we'll work with you. Yeah, of course. I'll do anything for you. I'll whatever work you want to do. Yeah, I'm very happy to do it, because, hey, you respect artists. So yeah, we do go snooping. We do know how you treat artists. So yeah, treat your artists well, and they will treat you well back. If you show a little bit, because like for me, all the people who are reoccurring customers for me, dude, I will give you fucking discounts off the fucking wazoo. Because if you're good to me, if you treat me well, I will treat you well back. I will get you what you need. Because at the end of the day, again, all I want to do is just help you stream. If you want this thing, I will do my best to get it to you, right? So like, I will give people discounts. I'll be like, you treat me well. Here you go. So yeah, treat your artists well. I'm not definitely saying like, don't befriend artists for discounts. Don't be nice to artists for discounts. Don't like take advantage of people. But I'm saying treating artists well do pay off, and we do appreciate it, and we will show our appreciation in some way. And a lot of times you'll never know it. Like, you'll never know like, oh, I'm gonna spend like 30 minutes longer rendering this hair to get it perfect because this person treated me well. Like it can be in like those sort of ways where you'll never know necessarily. But artists do care. Artists do care about how you treat them. We're not just some like faceless like entity that you're doing business with and then we'll never fucking see again. We are real people, and we do appreciate the kindness that people show to us, especially in these times where like it's very common to have art just stolen, ripped. We've got the AI art epidemic. We got fucking big streamers just fucking taking shit because they want to. Like, it's really hard out here. Twitter and like most social media will like not promote our shit. It's really hard to get out there as an artist. So if you're somebody who like supports artists, we appreciate it. We appreciate it so much. Thank you so much.
Mumud mod cred stuff live. Damn, that's amazing.
I was also gonna say, cool. Filian sadly, Filian has gotten away with other shit in the past. Like,
oh yeah, this is not the first.
A bunch of people don't even like. A lot of people in our community now, and a lot of people she works with don't even know about like the like racist shit that like went on like 2 years ago. Not even 2 years ago, within like a little over a year ago, I think it was. But like there was things like her making like George Floyd jokes. Fucking
yeah.
She's problematic like, in almost every way. That's what I'm saying. Like one of the problems with the situation is just Filian.
Yeah. I think a lot of people don't. I think that's the reason a lot of people don't know is because the people who are around don't care, and the people who, like she's working with now don't know because a lot of those people who are around don't care. It's a combination. It's a combination of like people not knowing and not caring.
Yeah, and people are always as well like, you know, people are always saying like, oh, why is nobody in Filian's circle calling her out? Why is nobody saying anything? And it's also like, I think they definitely should call her out. I don't think it needs to be like a public affair. I think it could be like, we're cutting ties with you and we're not gonna associate with you. I think that would be like a very simple way of just like showing the community that you do care that this happened, but not making like a public statement about it, because when you do make public, because people are ready to tear anybody as soon as whatever side you land on, you're gonna be torn to pieces. And a lot of people like, this person that I know is being the fucking problematic one, and I don't want that in my life. Like I don't want that to bleed over into my life. But you know, I also think, as shitty as it to say, it comes with it comes with the territory. And especially with Filian, where it's like, yeah, it's a history of issues. So when you see the first one and you brush it aside, and then you see the second thing that happens and you brush it aside, and you see like, at what point are you now investing in somebody who's problematic? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy.